Now, I was going to be in a position to announce that our public participation would be at the end of the open meeting with the arrival of the Remuneration Authority Chair, the Honourable Dame Fran Wild. Her plane has been cancelled just now. We've just had advice that her plane has been cancelled, but we are making arrangements for her to Zoom into the meeting in order for her to give a summary of the issues around determining local government elected members' remuneration and some of the decisions that will be required to make as well. So I will put that matter on hold. So at some stage during the course of the meeting, but it does mean that I was going to restructure the meeting around her availability just prior to the lunch adjournment. And so as a result, if we can get her to come in sort of either immediately before or immediately after the morning tea break, then I'll do that. So we'll just work with her office and see where an appropriate time would be. But that, that's disappointing. So we'll just move on to presentation of petitions, and I'll invite Andre Moore to present a petition on a matter that is before the council today, 66 Quaifs Road. Thank you, Andre.
Good morning, councillors. I'm presenting you a petition today asking that you retain 1/3 of the land at 66 Quaifs Road for future community use. I bring with me a support for my petition from the Hallsville Community Project, the Hallsville Community Hall, the Hallsville Residents Association, Hallsville United Football Club, along with over 340 people who have gone ahead and signed it. One of the comments on the petition said Hallsville is the fastest growing suburb and we'll need more facilities in future so our community is not relying on other suburbs to meet our needs. As you know, Hallsville is growing extremely fast. Out of the 2,700 new homes consented by council in the last year, nearly 400 of those were in Hallsville. This level of growth in the area is expected to be seen every year for the foreseeable future. I accept it, I embrace it, and I welcome it. But what we're asking for is the growth is catered for and planned for. I've searched far and wide and have barely come across anyone at all who doesn't believe that retaining 1/3 of this land for community use is a bad idea. Selling 2/3 still allows for housing development, and I'm very pleased to see that the board's actions and recommendations may well result in some affordable housing being built for first home buyers. That would be an excellent outcome. I'd like to draw your attention to some points in the report which you'll be basing your decision off today. Mentions that Kāinga have expressed an interest in acquiring the whole site. It took me several weeks to get an answer to this, but Kāinga would also be interested in 2/3 of the land. So really important that's noted there as well. It says that this property could be retained by council, but there is no identified use for it. Reality is there hasn't been any work go into identifying a use for the land or what it could be used for in future. So naturally there's going to be no identified use if you haven't identified what future use may look like. The report mentions the draft Community Facilities Network Plan, and emphasis here on the word draft. What the plan originally said was there are no significant geographical gaps in the network. What the community facilities map showed in that was exactly that. What it showed was a great gaping gap right in this part of Hallsville we're talking about. The board submitted on that at the time, and sure enough, the Community Resilience Committee decided to adopt the plan subject to changes. One of those changes was removing that exact wording and replacing the part about no current geographical gaps. I have the information here if you'd like to see it. I've got the receipts, but really important that the report should mention that as well, that wording was once upon a time in there, it was removed because there are geographical gaps. The report states there is currently no infrastructure to service a potential site as the land and that surrounding it is undeveloped. The entire point here that the land around it is being developed, and selling 2/3 for development would see, sure enough, development. So there is development taking place. So problem solved in that regard. It mentions that we've already retained the old Halswell Library site, which was previously identified for sale, and that's kind of exactly the point here I'm making. Sure enough, it turned out that retaining that site for community use was a good decision. The Halswell Community Hub is thriving, it's extremely busy, there's amazing people doing amazing work in our community there now. That decision to retain that land was on the right side of history. A few years back, the council attempted to sell off land at Halswell Domain and Halswell Quarry. Some residents and the board at the time opposed and fought against that. As it turns out, retaining land at the Halswell Domain and Quarry also turned out to be on the right side of history. They knew that the area would continue to grow. Councillors, you've got an opportunity today to be on the right side of history once again on this issue. In an area growing as fast as ours, it's highly unlikely that there will be no identified uses for this land in future. In my petition wording, I've specifically committed to eating my Sunday hat if there's not. The final part I draw your attention to is the line that reads, there is consequently no reason for the council to retain any part of the sale of land. I believe I'm holding a reason right here in front of you, and it's a petition from over 340 residents. I believe that's a pretty good reason. It's what the community wants, it's what the community will need in future, and it's what the community is asking you for today. We're looking to build not just homes, but we are looking to build a community in the area that we love and cherish. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Would someone like to move the recommendation that we receive the petition and thank Andre for presenting the petition? Pauline, seconded by Anne. Sorry, I should have taken that from you.
It's a clarification.
Is that, sorry, questions? Do we, petitions?
Standing orders are silent, so it's up to
Okay,
up
yeah,
to
yeah,
your discretion.
okay.
It may even be for Joe. It's just we may need to correct the record because Andre said there were 340 signatures and yet there's only 148 on there.
We will update the minutes to reflect.
The minutes will be updated to reflect the true number.
Right.
148 when it was submitted.
Oh, right. Okay, so there is. Okay.
So there have been further signatures collected since it was submitted
Right.
in time to be on this agenda.
Right.
Yeah. That's, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So it's been moved and seconded, so I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you. Thanks,
you all.
Andre.